What is period?
You see?
Bella dear, a period is used to end a sentence.
Dad, I'm going to eat that period.
3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Hello, my name is Oinda Malakir. I'm the founder of Meat District Nigeria. At Meat District Nigeria, we sell fresh fish, meat, ram, goat, and all kinds of seafood. Today, I'm here to talk to you about how to store your meat longer in the freezer. Number 1 tip, good meat starts from a good source. When you get your meat from a good source, you probably have fresh meat for longer. When you buy your meat in the market, do not store in the bag that you buy from the market. When you get to your kitchen, after your meat has gone through a long time in transit, always put it in a sieve, let the water drain off before you store it in the freezer. You can always put it in a Ziploc bag just like this. Date it with the date you bought it and what's inside, and just put it in the freezer. That way it stays longer and fresher if there's no freezer burn. Number 2, do not wash your meat if you're not intending to use it immediately. If you're buying meat to store in the freezer, always just sieve it, make sure there's no fluid. As you can see in this bag, there's no fluid at all. Put it in a Ziploc bag. If there's fluid in it, sieve it out or pack dry with a kitchen towel and then store like this or put it in the freezer. Number 3, do invest in a cooler bag. A cooler bag is this sort of bag. You can get it for as low as 1,000 naira. Just take it along to the market with you. Buy a pack of ice, 100 naira in the market. Put your meat inside and it stays fresher until you get home. That way you have fresh meat. You don't need to, the meat will not change color. It will still have the freshness in it, and then you have good meat to do proper color. It won't go black before you get to your house. And ideally, your meat should stay in the freezer for nothing more than 3 months if it's in a Ziploc bag. But when it comes with a vacuum sealer bag like this, it can stay long for like a year or 8 months to a year. But if it's in a Ziploc bag, don't seal it after 3 months. That's why you need to date it so you know what time you got it and how long it's been in the freezer. The best way to keep your meat fresher for longer is with a vacuum sealer. In the vacuum sealer bag, when it stays longer and fresher for longer because all the hair has been vacuumed out by the sealer machine, and your meat retains color, flavor, and moisture, and there is no bacterial growth. So you can stay in the freezer if it's stored this way for a year, and you still have the same fresh look and fresh color. So vacuum sealing is the best way to keep your meat if you're storing it for a long term. Now going to the fish, the first way to identify a fresh fish is by the skin. The skin is always very shiny. It's always bright looking and shiny. It doesn't have any dull looking part of the skin. The whole fish is shining and good looking. Also, this part of the fish is always very nice looking and sharp. As well as the grill. The grill is always a bit slimy. It's never dry and it still has a bit of life in it. You have this sort of feel in the fish. Also the eyeball is always very glassy. It's not blind looking like the frozen fish you get in the market. So those are the ways you can identify your fresh fish.
Welcome back. I have with me Taiwo Mobonju Bola, and she's the CEO of Tay Exotica Limited, a healthy fruit drink company. I said healthy fruit drink because I know that from Zobo you're going to go into all other kinds of healthy fruit drinks, right?
Yes, so we have a lot of that.
Oh, you have a lot of that, but it's on order and it's customized, yes, right? Okay, so tell us about, your business in general. Before, earlier on, we had a discussion, and you talked about the fact that the market was saturated before you entered the market. So what pulled you into a saturated market, saturated in quotes?
Okay. Since the market was saturated already, I just wanted to carve a niche for myself.
So did you like Zobo? You were looking for a business opportunity, or you were looking for a side business? What was it really?
I've always been making Zobo in my house.
Okay, so you're an avid Zobo lover and drinker.
Yes, yes. I brew Zobo.
Oh, good.
You know, so I've always been, it's what I do effortlessly. So it just came naturally.
Do you grow up in the north? Because I know it's sort of like a drink from the north.
No.
The northern part of Nigeria.
No.
Okay.
So I've been brewing Zobo ever since God knows when. But lately, that was last year, I make it and store in the fridge.
Okay.
And when my visitors come, or whenever we have a visitor or something,
That's what you serve.
I serve them.
And that's what you give your kids as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
I serve them. I don't buy all those fizzy drinks all around. I don't. So I notice anytime I serve them fizzy drinks, they tend to ask for take home. For the
When
road.
you serve them Zobo.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the road, you know. So I give them, you can have it with love.
It's funny that a lot of all the businesses that we've met started in that way. Started as just something you do effortlessly, and
you know.
So when did you decide that you were going to start selling?
Last year,
Okay.
mid last
No, let's
year.
stop again. Let's stop.
Okay.
Don't do last year. Don't date it.
I shouldn't date it. Okay.
Yeah, don't date it. So just tell us when a friend, as in,
I actually have a story.
like a story.
I have
So
a
is that
story.
story? Okay, so let me ask you the question again. So when did you decide that you wanted to go into Zobo production commercially?
Okay, right. Last year, a friend of mine was involved in fire hazard.
Okay.
Affected her seriously. She got burns all over her body, and it was on a Sunday. I just got a text during service.
Yeah.
I'm in the hospital. My house got burnt, and I panicked. This is someone that comes to my house and calls me to, please, can I have Zobo?
Okay.
You know, and I give effortlessly, you know. So I went from the church, I went to the hospital to see her, and I saw she was fine, and we were just sitting and okay, so why didn't you bring Zobo for me?
Yeah.
Don't you know that I'm in pain? I'm like, you are in pain, and you
still want Zobo.
and you still want Zobo. I said, okay. The thing is, let me get home. I'm coming from church. Let me get home. I just brewed some yesterday.
Yeah.
They're freezing. Let me bring them back. 2 hours after, I dashed home and I brought 6 bottles for her, thinking she was going to consume herself. So the next day she got discharged, and I was supposed to pick her kids in school. I didn't know, unknown to me, I didn't know she was already serving my Zobo. She just sent me a text that I've exhausted the Zobo. I'm like, what happened? I was serving my friends and those that came to say hi to me. You know, so when I now got down to their house, I overheard a grandma and a grandpa. They came to see her. I was like, this Zobo is nice. I like this Zobo. Who brewed it? And I just walked in right on them, unknown. I didn't know they were even. I just overheard. Just thought they were.
So you told them you were the one?
And she was like, she was the one that made this.
Okay.
I'm like, that's very nice. These are over 70 grandma and grandpa. And the next question from grandpa was, how much is it?
And you didn't have an answer?
That caught me unaware. And I replied, 200 naira.
Yeah.
The next thing the man did was, he brought out 1,000 naira and lit 5 bottles.
Wow, and then it did not come to you.
Not come to me. Oh,
like you're sitting on a gold mine. This is money.
Yeah, I've been nursing the idea, but I just needed that push.
And he gave you that push.
He gave me 5 bottles.
And that was how
it all started. The next day, I dashed to the market, bought some, and you know, I made like 40 bottles.
Oh, good. From the 1,000. Oh, you added more money?
Oh, good. I actually took 15,000.
Okay, so what has your experience been? You know, like, and if you had, would you do this again? For you, what is this? Is this something you're really passionate about, or is it an opportunity? You know, so, you know, we have businesses like that we do because we see, there's a need, or, this business is trending. This is where the money is. So what is it for you?
For me, it's passion. I enjoy brewing Zobo.
So you're playing? and you're making money in the process.
I tell people I'm
Yeah.
just scratching the surface.
Wow.
You can't see me coming.
Mm.
You can't see. That's why I go extra length in making and brewing and branding it in such a way that even when you take it, you know this is what you can brew yourself at home. This is the same quality.
Same quality.
Yes, it's value for your
So what do you see yourself in the next 10 years with this business?
next 10 years.
Yeah. Okay, next 5 years. Let's start with 5 years. Then go to 10 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Next 5 years, you can't see me coming.
Ah, I can't see you coming.
Can't.
You're building a
I have a
conglomerate.
huge
Wow.
dream, and you know, it's always a saying that no one can see your dream like
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, like you do. Yeah.
Nobody can see it.
So you have convictions about this business.
I don't. there was a. Let me tell you a story. I went to a store to
Yeah.
introduce Zobo,
Yeah.
and they were like, "How much is it?" I told them the price, and like, "It's too expensive. Is it not Zobo?" And I'm like, "I don't do Zobo." But is it not Zobo you brought? I brew exotica Zobo because it's exotic
That's
in
it.
all.
That's it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I brew it.
So you've succeeded in creating a brand.
Yes.
You know, for a product that otherwise would be common, but you're able to stand out.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So, but what challenges have you faced doing this business in Nigeria? What challenges have you faced?
Right.
Hmm.
Challenges. Initially, I was refused several times.
Several times, so you maybe went to stores to try
I went
and
to stores
stock.
and talked to the supervisors, managers.
And they said no.
And they said no. And each time they say no, it's like they are fueling me.
Oh my goodness, that's the spirit.
I turn back with a bang, and with a bang and an attitude that I'll be back.
I'll be back. You know, so there's
Look for me.
There's this saying, I don't know if it's a saying or a proverb that says, for all the doors that were shut on us,
Yeah.
we're coming back to buy the building.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That was it.
So what's your advice out there to entrepreneurs who face rejection? You know, some people say, I don't like marketing, I'm not a marketer, and then they go out and then people say no, people slam the door in their faces. Maybe there's someone who's watching right now, and the person's like, you know what, I'm going to get a job. I can't take this anymore. This is not for me. You get to that point, and what's your advice to anyone going through that right now?
I didn't allow myself to get to that point because each no is like, you're just fueling me, and this is what I need.
Yeah.
Apart from being focused, persistent,
Yeah.
and I'm resilient. I don't take no for an answer. I know where I'm going. My dream is in my head. You can't see it. So those are the things that fuel my...
So what advice would you give someone out there who wants to give up?
Hang
Who's
in
just
there.
at that place where...
Breaking point. Just hang in there. Continue doing what you're doing. Consistency is the key.
Consistency is the key.
Over and over and over and over and over again. If you do the same thing all over again, you'll be the best at what you do.
Fantastic. If you do the same thing,
The same
over
thing
and
all over
again, so you're training yourself. There's consistency working.
Yes.
You become stronger, you become better.
At what you
And then at a point, you can't be ignored. You get to the point where no one will ignore you. You know. So, and this is just so amazing. Thank you so much. Like right now, I have wings. Like I'm flying. I'm so inspired by your
Thank you
story.
so much.
Thank you for encouraging us, for encouraging the entrepreneurs out there to go for it.
Yeah.
Even when there are challenges, challenging times, you need to be, persistent. You need to always look out for opportunities. You need to be positive and realize that everything, as a child of God, everything, the Bible says everything works together for good to them that love God. So it can only work to your advantage. Fantastic. Yes.
And lastly, whatever your hands find it to do,
do it well.
Do it well.
Thank you for joining us
Thank you
today.
so much.
And I will see you on the next episode of the Metro Woman Marketplace.
If a pack of souvenir is 1,875 naira, how much will it cost to get for 750 guests?
1,406,250 naira.
Correct.
So girl is very sharp. Oh. She takes after her brother.
For years, Cowbell Milk has been building great minds and strong bodies.
Ma, me too. I like to have brain.
Cowbell, our milk.
Nigeria is 59. The management of Delta Broadcasting Service, Warri, in conjunction with Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, invites the general public to join us in the 2019 Independence Day celebration tagged DRTV Nigeria Praise. This program is a praise program designed to worship God on behalf of the nation. Dress code white and green. Get fee free of charge. Featuring dance galore, Frogman Gospel Music Ministers, International Mass Choir of all churches, African Praise, venue DBS Ejeba Expressway, Warri. Date Tuesday 1st of October 2019, time 12 noon. Groups or church mass choir who wish to participate in this program should please contact Johnson Obaseje on 0803 555 4015 or Harold 0803 453 8423. Signed, Reverend Harold Ikuku, DBS Warri, Chairman, Planning Committee.
Hooray!
21st of September each year is observed as the International Day of Peace.
In commemoration of this year's International Day of Peace with the theme Climate Action for Peace, the Nigerian Union of Journalists Delta Broadcasting Service, Warri Chapel, as part of its contribution to global advocacy for peace, especially as it relates to our Warri area, that has suffered some setbacks occasioned by the infamous Warri crisis, presents
NUJGBS Warri Chapel 2019 Peace Walk.
as part of the activities to mark the day.
There will be a peace walk from the premises of Delta Broadcasting Service Ejeba MPA Expressway through some major roads in Warri and Uvia local government areas and back to Delta Broadcasting Service Warri.
There will be other side attractions after the walk.
Come, let's work and entrench peace in our society and world at large.
Let's work to promote physical fitness for a healthy living.
Date, Saturday 21st September 2019.
Take up point, Delta Broadcasting Service Warri Ejeba premises.
Time 6:30 a.m. prompt.
For participation, please call
0803-711-2265 or 0801-474-84022.
It's 2019 International Day of Peace.
Work to stay alive and healthy.
Work for a peaceful society.
Join us.
Come with peace, Echo.
Chairman 2019 Peace Work Planning Committee.
Announcer.
Are you facing any spiritual problems, delay in marriage or miscarriage, financial crisis, or dissatisfied with your present condition? Your set time is now. Come experience the raw power of God and miracles as Voice of God International Gospel Center presents 72 Hours with God. Ministering in word is Bishop Anselm Arutere.
Turning point, positive turning point in every aspect of your life.
Date Tuesday 8th to Thursday 10th October 2019. Time Tuesday 8th to Wednesday 9th 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Thursday 10th Wonders Online 10 p.m. Venue number 5 Ovie Palace Road off Efrun Sapele Road, Efrun Delta State, Nigeria. For more inquiries, call 081-641-11403. Come as your miracles and testimonies await you. This program is powered by Voice of God International Center and Favor TV.
On the main news tonight, Governor Okura advocates stronger, stable, efficient primary healthcare system in Delta State. Presidential Election Petition Tribunal upholds election of President Buhari. Welcome back test holds across public schools. Commissioner monitors. And indigents of Agbaruto Kingdom protest power outage, block section of East-West Road. Hello, very good evening. Welcome to the main news. My name is Scott Spar or Madebo. Thank you for joining us. A stronger, stable, and efficient primary health care system is a veritable tool for achieving universal health coverage in the country. Government House correspondent Miriam Weke reports this was the assertion of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa on Thursday while declaring open the 62nd National Council on Health NCH meeting holding in Asaba, the state capital. Details of the report will be brought to you in subsequent bulletin. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, challenging the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari at the February 23, 2019 election. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal delivered the verdict in Abuja on Wednesday. The report.
Dismissed the case for lack of merit after resolving all the 5 issues raised in the case against the petitioner. Justice Garba, who read the lead judgment, resolved all the 5 broad issues raised by the petitioners in favor of the respondents. He held that none of the grounds on which the petition was anchored was proved. Comparing the evidence led by the petitioners to the quantum of the allegations, Justice Garba said it is like a drop in the ocean. He ruled in the final result that the petitioners have not discharged the burden of proof required of any of the grounds of the petition in paragraph 15 of the petition. Hence, the petition was dismissed in its entirety. The tribunal held, among others, that contrary to the contention of the petitioners, President Muhammadu Buhari had the educational qualification to contest the presidential election. It held that the petitioners failed to provide any proof that President Buhari did not attend the provincial secondary school Katsina and obtained his West African school certificate from there in 1961. The tribunal also ruled that the election manual issued by INEC for the conduct of the 2019 presidential election did not provide the electronic transmission of results of the election. It added that the petitioners failed to prove that election results were transmitted electronically. The tribunal also held that the card reader was not used to transmit results during the election, but was for mere authentication of ownership of voter cards. It added that none of the documents tendered by the petitioners was utilized to prove the allegations, such as overvoting or non-accreditation of voters. Other members of the panel, Justice Abdul Aboki, Justice Ike Samuel Useji, and Peter Ige, concurred with the ruling. The judgment, which lasted over 8 hours on Wednesday, started at 9:30 a.m. and ended at about 5:58 p.m. when other members of the panel delivered their supporting opinions.
The National Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Asaba Wednesday struck out the petition filed by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Honorable Samuel Marieri, challenging the election victory of the member representing Ughelli North, Ughelli South, and the Edo Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Honorable Francis Waive. The tribunal panel, led by its chairman, Justice A.M. Abubakar, dismissed Honorable Marieri's petition for lack of merit. Honorable Marieri had approached the tribunal seeking to be declared as winner, or in the alternative, the election be cancelled for election irregularities and non-compliance with the Electoral Act. Delivering the judgment, Justice Abubakar held that the Honorable Waive, who was elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, won the election, having secured the majority of lawful votes during the February 23, 2019 election. The tribunal also held that the claims by the petitioner that 320 votes allegedly meant for him were not recorded could not be proved by Honorable Marere and his party PDP. The panel also dismissed the allegation of falsification of results leveled against Honorable Waive by the petitioner for failure to provide evidence. Meanwhile, the member representing Ueli North, Ueli South and Udu Federal Constituency at the National Assembly, Honorable Francis Waive, while reacting to the judgment, thanked the tribunal panel for upholding his election. The federal lawmaker dedicated his tribunal victory to God and his constituents, thanking them for their continuous support. He said the victory at the tribunal would spur him to offer quality representation to the people of his constituency. Honorable Waive called for support of all and sundry and to bring dividends of democracy to his constituency. Following directive by the Delta State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education that all public schools conduct an assessment test, the exercise held across government schools across the states. But pupils and students of public primary and secondary schools wrote the mathematics and English language test tagged resumption test. Correspondent to SCA said a report that the compulsory test, which carries 10 marks each, forced many parents to release their children to school. The report.
The resumption test commenced 9 a.m. in all public primary and secondary schools in Delta State. The Commissioner's directive is apparently to test the academic readiness of the learners and most essentially to force them from the homes of their parents. The measure achieved the desired results as all the classrooms were filled to the brim, unlike 3 days ago, which recorded empty classrooms. Pupils of Nana Primary School, supervised by their teachers, wrote the English language and the mathematics. 3 of the classrooms were filled as the learners battled to recollect what they read few months ago before they proceeded on a long holiday. Also, students of Nana Model College in Warri wrote the compulsory resumption test in English language and mathematics. Attendance at the government model college was impressive as teachers supervised the conduct of the first test of this term. Similar exercise was recorded at Ogborikoko Secondary School, Ogborikoko, another government-owned institution. The principal of the school, Mr. Omashuine Falonsho, and teachers ensured the assessment test was orderly and peaceful. The principal said learning commenced since Monday, but however regretted the destruction of the school's property, including marker boards that have been removed by unknown persons believed to be from Ogborikoko community.
Learners have been coming. They started school, started in earnest on the 9th. Today is Thursday. The population as it is today is quite encouraging, especially because of the first resumption test that is being conducted today. I think we have about 80% of our students are now in school. The issue of vandalization of school property as something that has been occurring in this school. What we experienced when we resumed was that all the boards in the classrooms were removed.
Students of Ekete Secondary School, Ekete, in Odu Council area, also wrote their assessment test. While the assessment test was going on, some parents sat anxiously waiting for the school authorities to attend to their wards, seeking fresh admission into the school. At Owase Primary School, also in Udu, the learners had completed the assessment test and seen playing games. Some of the teachers have commenced marking of the scripts. The head teacher, Mrs. Maria Boro, lauded the introduction of the assessment test in all schools.
The response was very okay, particularly the back to school test which the Commissioner of Education has expected. It has made many children to come out Emma. Before now, when they resume like this, the children will not come the way they come up today now. Then when we announced the back to school test to them, they were so excited, they now wake up from slumber and you can see the turn up now. The teachers are now, we've administered the test to them.
We need a resumption back to school, which every student that is present
Meanwhile, learning in other schools has also picked up 4 days after all schools reopened for the new academic session. The principal and head teacher of St. Anastasia Heights Schools, from Mrs. Omoye Ebome, on Monday, Irimibiere said teaching and learning commenced since Monday. They however appealed to parents to release their awards early to school instead of spending 2 weeks at home doing nothing.
School has resumed. The Ministry of Education, they were yet to see whether we are complied to such an injunction that schools should resume on the night, because before now, some schools had told their learners that they will be resuming on the 16th. But prior to resumption, the ministry also brought out their calendar and informed us that it's going to be on the 9th. So we have complied to it.
It's the tradition of parents in Nigerian society. The first week of resumption, they don't usually release their children because they felt much work. But in case of St. Anastasia's Heights, our staffs are ready.
All schools in Delta State are expected to conduct another assessment test before the first examination in November. Joycin Esiete reporting.
4 days into the resumption of primary and secondary schools for the first term of the 2019-2020 academic session, students of secondary schools are already engaged in a welcome back test. Correspondent reports that at Dom Domingo College Warri, the turn-up of students was very encouraging at various classrooms were filled to capacity and partaking in the welcome back test. The principal of Dom Domingo's College Warri, Mrs. Okpakpo Florence, while conducting newsmen around the classroom as the test was ongoing, said the welcome back test is a welcome development in the school system, noting that the test will help the students refresh their memory in lessons learned from their last session. Mrs. Okpakpo, who commended the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Patrick Uka, for the initiative, appealed to parents to comply with the new directive, noting that the welcome back test will be part of the cumulative assessment to be recorded for students.
With the innovation that the Commissioner has really introduced, is very nice. Commissioner is very serious about the scores, the test. So, and it's going to form 10% of their total cumulative for this term. So, anybody that misses it, the person has just to buckle off.
The welcome back test is an exercise to help refresh students' memory and get them set for the first term academic activities. Delta State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Honorable Patrick Uka, has expressed happiness with the level of compliance to school resumption and a test designed for the pupils and students. The Commissioner, who was on tour of schools, reminded school heads to set up their management committees. This is from collecting legal levies and ensure general improvement in the education subsector. Staff correspondent Linus Chima, who was with the Commissioner at Hussey College, Delta Secondary School and Nana College, filed in this report.
At 8:15 a.m., hundreds of students of Hussey College were already in school and the assembly had been conducted. However, a good number of them were still finding their way to school when the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Patrick Uka, visited. The Commissioner expressed his unhappiness at the late resumption of the students and asked the principal, Margaret Oputu, to scale up her advocacy and supervision of students and teachers in the school. The Commissioner was also at Delta Secondary School, where Roddy Akpari conducted him and his entourage. As at 9 a.m., there was an appreciable number of students in the school while the resumption examination was underway. At Nana College, the Commissioner observed that the children complied fully with the school resumption time and resumption test, which according to him constitute 40% of the school examination this academic session. At Nana Primary School, the team inspected classrooms and expressed happiness that the expected changes were taking root. Speaking after the tour of select schools in Warri South Council area, Patrick Uka said government remained committed to revamping the education subsector for greater efficiency and better output. He said everyone is a stakeholder in advancing the fortunes of teaching and learning and solicited cooperation towards improving education in Delta State.
I'm quite impressed with the percentage of the students that have resumed, especially in Nana College, where we are now, and in fact even in Horsey College. But what I observed in Horsey College, the principal has promised they will change. It's late coming. Most of the children were not even aware of assembly this morning, 4 days after resumption. But I believe they will change because they never expected we'll be there this morning. So now that they know there could be surprise visits, I think there will be an improvement. I'm quite impressed with the primary school, the Nana Primary School, but I'm also not impressed that most of the students are not back. And I remember that in Otu Jeremy and some places where we went to, there was a high rate of compliance, and what they did was to go to the villages, villagers, and they used the tank criers. We need to encourage the parents at home to allow the children come back to school.
The commissioner stated warning against collection of illegal levies by school heads, explaining that schools are under constant watch.
Don't charge them any money that is not street.
Oka also announced plans to reorient the thought patterns of school-age children and encourage value changes.
A lot of our kids these days are beginning to believe in get rich quick. But we must understand that you take a step one after the other. So we need to now bring back that patience to know that you must walk before running, or you have to crawl before even standing. By the time they understand that, they know that this life is not a bed of roses.
The commissioner has been visiting schools in Delta State to ensure compliance with school resumption tests, and encouraging a positive change in primary and secondary schools across the state. Linus Chima reporting.
Federal Ministry of Education is partnering with anti-graft agencies and other stakeholders to curb examination malpractices in the country. Founding Chairman, Exam Ethics Marshall International, Mr. Ike Onyekwere, disclosed this in Abuja on Thursday. The report says Independent Corrupt Practices Commission ICPC, the EFCC and other education stakeholders will soon produce a blueprint to curb examination malpractices across the board. He ever said the incidences of examination malpractices were not limited to schools. He said that the organization, with support from the Ministry of Education, will organize a conference for mainstream examination ethics while combating malpractices in the education sector. Onyechere said that the conference would hold between 24th through 26th September 2019 with stakeholders in the education and security sector, as well as politicians, are expected to attend. Delta State Commissioner for Youth Development, Comrade Ifani Egunyenga, has stated that the Directorate will collaborate with various higher institutions in the state to incorporate entrepreneurship training in their curriculum, partner with private organizations to engage and equip the youth. Comrade Egunyenga stated this when he hosted the Robo National Youth Council Executive in his office at Asaba. The Youth Commissioner stated that the youths in Delta State are unique in their different ways, with lots of untapped positive resources within them. He urged the youths to go beyond the limitations of seminars and regular youth activities. He enjoined the youths to key into the different programs which Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has created for youths in the state, adding that Governor Okowa is a listening governor committed to issues of the youth. According to him, he has been given the task and responsibility of overhauling the Directorate of Youth Development to dwell more on mindset orientation and content development. Comrade Egunyenga, who stated that the upcoming programs for youth will be domiciled in the different local government areas for more participation, say not all youth stays in the urban cities. Earlier, the president-elect of Urobo National Youth Council, Mr. Godspur Enero, who thanked the commissioner for the reception, said they came to introduce the executive to the commissioner. The State Commissioner for Oil and Gas, Prince Emmanuel Angbaduba, has restated the commitment of the ministry to work with the Special Project Coordinator of the Kwale Gas Industrial Park to ensure its completion. Prince Angbaduba said this during a courtesy visit to the Special Project Coordinator Kwale Industrial Park on River Tam, Brisbane, to firm up discussion on the proposed industrial park. The Commissioner, who thanked the Special Project Coordinator, said he would be glad to support the vision of the State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, saying that the ministry would do everything within its capacity to ensure they are fully involved in the project. The Special Project Coordinator, Kwale Industrial Park, Honorable Tam Brisbane, said the idea of the industrial park was conceived by the state government in the year 2016 as a way of creating employment for its people and also boost internal generated revenue IGR of the state. According to the project coordinator, the Kwale Gas Industrial Park will come with modern facilities such as schools, hostels, hospitals, good roads, sewage plant, among others, saying that the Ministry of Oil and Gas will be a major driver in the project. Delta State Commissioner for Finance, Sir Fidelis Tilije, says it is a bit easier for him to track out corrupt practices in the system because of the cooperation of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who is at the ends of affairs. Sir Tilije said this in Asaba when the leadership of the Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJ Delta State Council paid him an advocacy visit. He asserted that the administration of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has performed well in the last 4 years and was poised to sustain the pace of infrastructural development and do more for the people. State Commissioner for Finance stated that with the Department of Project Monitoring now in place, it would no longer be business as usual for those who engage in shoddy practices, saying that all MDAs are now aware of the development and must ensure quality execution of projects. While noting that the confidence reposed on him by Governor Ifeanyi Okowa was high, the Finance Commissioner promised not to disappoint the state and the governor in carrying out his responsibilities. He promised to be transparent and sue for cooperation of the state leadership of the NUJ. Sir Tilije said he was pleased to hear that the leadership of the NUJ was set to sanitize the pen profession to rid out quacks who dent the image of the union. Chairman of the State Council of the NUJ, Comrade Michael A. Cargo, who led other executives of the union on the visit, urged the Finance Commissioner to use his good office to sanitize payments for projects in the state by ensuring that only contractors who complete projects get paid. Delta State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Chris Onogba, has stated that government is ready to make IDP camps comfortable and safe for affected flood victims. Mr. Onogba stated this during an on-the-spot inspection of IDP camps at Utagbogbe Technical College, Kwale, and Alaka Secondary School, Ozoro, in a bid to ensure that they are ready and safe to receive flood victims. The Commissioner stated that proper orientation will be done to incorporate discipline and reduce mismanagement of school facilities in the early period of camping, saying that people should not take government proactive measures for granted. Earlier, the principals of Otagbogwe Technical College Kwale, Mrs. Enebili Ambilian, and Alaka Secondary School Ozoro, Mr. Nicholas Ara, has said that in previous experience, school properties were messed up. They hope and believe that this time around it will be better. They stated that the schools were in bad shape, but teachers were able to manage the schools by introducing morning and afternoon sessions for effective learning. Fish farmers in Ekpan say they have lost over 40 million naira following the effect of the last flood on fish farms in that area. President General of the Uwe Kingdom, Chief Austin Ukukwerere, while addressing newsmen in Ekpan, said fishes in over 2,000 ponds were carried away by the flood. The report.
Royal Fish Farm Ekpa is a farm with over 3,000 fish ponds situated in Clarkson Street in Uwe local government area of the state. The which has different clusters of ponds produces different sizes of fish, of which fish buyers come from far and near to buy. But the reason for the visit to the fish farm was due to complaints of the fish farmers who were lamenting the losses caused by the recent flood that affected their ponds. Some of the fish farmers who spoke to newsmen, including the President General of Uwe Kingdom, Chief Austin Kuwere, among others, said that the flood destroyed about 2,000 fish ponds. They added that the flood destroyed their fish ponds, leading to losses of fishes they spent huge amounts of money to raise.
More than 40 million naira with the little rough estimate I can give. Everybody are crying. We have been waiting here since they have gone. We want government to come to our aid, to come to our rescue. In fact, about 2,500 pot out of 3,600.
All the fish, the water carry break all the whole pot where we put for inside, all the whole fish don't flow to the back of the river.
My BP is now rising because of flood of water. The little I can save, the little where I feed from, is gone.
Our farmers actually lost so much because all the ponds that way, were submerged.
The fish farmers also blamed the flood on lack of drains on the routes leading to the fish farms and appealed to government to come and help open up the natural water channel and construct drainages in the area to help avert further flooding. They also implored the state government to help construct the roads leading to the fish farm, as it will help the movement in and out of the farm.
You see those that are coming to buy fish here, they come here, the road is bad, you can see that the road is bad. If the road is good now and there is proper drainage, the water will run straight, it will not overflow into the fish pond.
The government can help us to tie this road and put the drainage, make the water go to the river. We'll be very happy.
We are really appealing to the government to help us, so that people who have feed pond, they can make economic gain.
The fish farmers who counted their losses later conducted newsmen round the affected fish ponds. Eda, you really get mine.
The chairman, Delta State House of Assembly Committee on the Sopadek, Honorable Emomotimi Guwo, has stressed the need for sustained peace and stability in all producing communities across the state. Speaking in the task before his committee in an interview with Assembly correspondent in Kimweke in his office in Asaba, Honorable Guwo, who represents Warri Southwest in the House, said the State House of Assembly would continue to encourage efforts by the state government to mitigate the challenges faced by impacted communities of oil exploration. The report.
The lawmaker, Honorable Emomotimi Guwo, said that the SOPADEC, as an interventionist agency and a key parastatal of the state government, has the mandate to help reduce the sufferings of the people of oil and gas producing communities in the state. Honorable Guwo noted that his committee, in carrying out its oversight functions, will ensure that the Commission remains focused and never deviates from the mandate of its creation. He said the bottom-top approach introduced by the new board to generate projects by holding town hall meetings was commendable, stressing that the SOPADEC remains a tool to delivering the dividends of democracy to the people. The lawmaker, who emphasized the need for prudent management of funds according to the SOPADEC, is in familiar terrain, having come from an oil-producing community as well as a pioneer staff of the SOPADEC and special assistant to one-time commissioner on the board of the SOPADEC. Honorable Guwo explained that he is part and parcel of the pains of the oil-bearing communities and pointed out that the project priority was a key area to be addressed. He said his committee will closely monitor the budgeting process of the Commission, implementations and performances aimed at ensuring equity in the various ethnic nationalities of oil and gas production in the state, amongst others.
This committee will work hand in hand with the Desperate Board to make sure what is due every group, every ethnic nationality. When I mean group, every ethnic nationality will be given to them. By the grace of God, in no distant time, the Desperate Board, I believe they will come up with their budgets, and then we'll make sure the budget is well managed in a way that it will go grassroots. It will be a project that the people need.
The lawmaker expressed optimism that the new board, whose members, he said, are persons that understand the workings of the government of Delta State, would collaborate effectively with the committee to position the SOPADEC for better performances. Honorable Goa encouraged all stakeholders to be patient with members of the new board, stating that very soon they will come out with their budget, which is expected to be grassroots driven. He further stressed that sustainable peace in oil-bearing communities across the state was key in actualizing government's commitment to returning Delta State to #1 position in oil production among other producing states. The lawmaker enjoined all to always channel their grievances properly when the need arises and avoid any form of rancor.
Political parties in Delta State have been urged to work with unity of purpose in order not to lose focus on the benefits of the democratic process. The senior political advisor to the governor, Honorable Funke Keme Solomon, who made the appeal when he met with chairmen of registered political parties in the state, said the parties must disemphasize groupings or associations that tend to cause division. Honorable Funke Keme Solomon reminded the party chairman that the Inter-Party Advisory Council (IPAC) was a statutory body which they must all belong to, but clarified that welfare issues would be on political party basis, advising IPAC to remain non-partisan and not to interfere with internal affairs of their political parties. He said he was holding the senior Pollard position on trust and would not do anything that would undermine the integrity of the office or betray the confidence reposed in him by the governor. The senior political advisor assured the party chairman of the readiness of government to partner with them, pointing out the need to sanitize the system to make it beneficial to all critical stakeholders in the democratic process. He said the office would soon embark on verification of political parties in the state for the purpose of authentication, and would do so without fear or favor to ensure things were done right. Honorable Solomon told the party chairman that Governor Ifeanyi was a product of a refined system and believed in appropriate reward for hard work. He assured them that for their massive support, they would benefit from the system, but not necessarily through appointments. Correspondent in Kimweke reports that the meeting called at the instance of the senior political advisor was attended by chairmen of over 50 registered political parties in the state. Frustration and hardship occasioned by low electricity supply across Delta State was further manifested on Thursday as indigents of Agbaroto Kingdom in Ughelli North Local Government area closed a section of the east-west road for several hours to register their displeasure over the power outage in their area for more than 2 years. Correspondent Felix Echo reports that the peaceful protest, dominated by the women of the kingdom, drew sympathy from vehicle owners and travelers, were held up in traffic jam caused by the protest. The reports.
By a majority of Agbaroto Kingdom women over the long absence of electricity supply to the kingdom began as early as 7 in the morning at Agbaratan.
We need life! Agbarat is life!
The disenchanted women, supported by some youths of the area, later mobilized themselves to storm the popular east-west road to draw attention and make their plight felt to the relevant authorities. With placards, chants, dancing, sitting on the ground, motorcycle and other displays. The women barricaded the Agbara and Isoko junctions on the east-west road with the resultant traffic gridlock for hours. The protesting women and youths of Agbaruto Kingdom in Ugele North Local Government area lamented that they have celebrated 2 Christmas without light and that the absence of power for more than 2 years had paralyzed socio-economic activities in the area. They alleged that various contestants for the 2019 general elections took advantage of the light problem by making promises to fix it before the elections in order to get their votes. The Benin Electricity Distribution Company BEDC, they claimed, insisted that the kingdom raised money to buy another 33 kVA transformer to replace the 41 that has plunged the area into darkness. The amount, which they say runs into millions of naira, is too much for them to afford, especially as most electricity consumers in the area are not indebted to the BEDC to deserve the abandonment by the Electricity Distribution Company. They appealed to their representative in the Delta State House of Assembly, who they accused of not drawing the state government's attention to the problem. The SOPADEC, NDDC, and the federal government to come to their rescue.
There is no light, and we have been suffering and be burning fuel every day for 4,000. I'm tired and my business is down.
The truth of the matter is that as a businessman, I've been running my business with generator, and you know what that means. The money I spend on generator on monthly basis is more than to pay 2 sales gear or 3 sales gear as case may be.
The day when I'm not on generator, I'm not the fee they sell. And most of the people now here, they say they charge every day. The day when I'm not on, when my generator get problem, they have to say, madam, what in now, here will say they charge me. What if they have, I will say my generator get problem.
Despite being held up in the traffic jam caused by the protests, some vehicle owners expressed their solidarity with the protesters.
I'm not angry with them. Let us do this for the nation to hear what they are passing through. So it's one of the ways to cry out to the nation.
Yes, I support them. Okay. I support them because the light is not small. They see that they suffer for it. They suffer with it. It's not light. But all the rest, we're not going to get what they said.
In recent times, frustrated members of areas experiencing acute electricity supply in Delta State have resorted to blocking major highways to vent their anger. Felix Echo, Drtv News.
People of Yeye community and other communities affected by the oil spill in Burutu local government area have appealed to the state government to prevail on Heritage Oil Company to clean up their environment. The women and youths of the Forum of Oil Spill Impacted Communities made the call during a protest to the Shanomi manifold operated by the Heritage Oil Shoreline and the National Petroleum Development Company NPDC. The report.
According to the people of the Forum of the Oil Spill Impacted Communities under ONL 30 in Burutu local government area, in 2017 there was massive oil spill from oil fields and facilities belonging to Heritage Oil, Shoreline and NPDC. The victims claimed that the oil spill negatively impacted on the environment, destroying their rivers and aquatic lives. They lamented that the aftermath of the spillage has rendered them jobless as they can no longer fish on the rivers, which is the mainstay of the economy, hence the protest. Speaking on behalf of the protesters, Mrs. Sarona Messiah and Mrs. Rosalind Ayawe said the oil spill has brought hunger to them as they can no longer pay their children's school fees, adding that their children and worse are yet to resume school. Mrs. Messiah and Mrs. Ayawe further alleged that the officials of the oil company had earlier visited the communities with a promise to clean up the environment, give them relief materials and pay compensation, but none of the promises had been fulfilled. The youth president of the Yeye community, Comrade Burutu Mozu, noted that the protest to the Chanumi Manifold is to warn the management of Heritage Oil to quickly meet the demands or risk complete shutdown of its facilities in the oil spill impacted communities. Cominozo also called on the federal and state governments to intervene on the issue.
Where they asking for the river, because the oil now they float for the river, we need a big fish at all. We cannot even pay our children to the school again because in the river, or the operation we have in the river is only fishing work. If we don't have to go to the river to fish it, our net is full with crude oil. How can we fish it and get fish to pay our children's school fees? We cannot. That is why we are begging the Heritage Oil Company that we are suffering. We need them to come and pay our money so that we can be able to pay our children's school fees. Government people, your year, you don't swell our river. Then our river now, you do something, you know they feed the fish. And it will they suffer. Me, when I dey here, I don't hold. My pikin that they go school. No way to buy fish. They train pikin. Now what do we want? We want to make them come clean our river. Why would they say they get food to the shop?
This thing is up for a long time ago. And this making how many I cannot even give date now presently, but what we want them to do to let them come from our area. Clean the rural area for me.
The chairman of EU Federated Communities, Pastor Philip Fianca, who came to intervene and calm the nerves of the protesters, said 20 communities were affected by the oil spillage. Pastor Fianca, however, called on the management of Heritage Oil, Shoreline and MPDC to urgently come to ameliorate the sufferings of the people living in the area by cleaning the environment, give relief materials and pay compensation to them.
Using this medium to appeal to His Excellency Senator Ifan Yokowa, the Executive Governor of Delta State. We are calling on the Attorney General of Delta State to intervene urgently and call upon Heritage to reach out to us in order to pay this money before the given time expires.
Security personnel were on ground to ensure that the protest was peaceful. Reporting, I am Nelson Miller.
A new leadership has emerged for the Rebel Youth Council worldwide, with Comrade Patrick Ogeneruru as president. The Rebel Youths in a peaceful election held on Sunday in Efru elected their leaders that will pilot the affairs of the council for the next 4 years. The report.
The Rebel Youth Council Worldwide is a foremost youth body aimed at uniting youths in Rebel ethnic nationality as well as attracting development to the people. Their gathering in Efru Sunday was an avenue to champion the cause of the body and chart a way forward. President of Rebel Youth Council Worldwide, Comrade Patrick Ogeneruru, charged the Rebel Youth to cooperate with the Okowa administration to achieve its set goals for Deltas. Comrade Ogeneruru told the youth to see themselves as tools for development by not engaging in vices that are inimical to growth and development of Rebel land and Delta State at large. He reminded them of the various skill acquisition programs provided by the Okowa administration to develop themselves. Comrade Ogeneruru, who disclosed that he will strive to attract the needed development to Rebel land, sued for their cooperation to enable him to succeed.
The members of the Rebel Youth Council, God will bless them for this peaceful election that they have conducted, and the mantle of leadership they have given to me, I will not misuse it. I will lead you to the promised land, and by the special grace of God, we will achieve, we will be a great nation.
Also speaking, the Secretary, Comrade Charlton Ukurere, and a member of the Board of Trustees, Comrade Kensington Ukwade, commended the youth for their peaceful disposition and sued for more support. They called on aggrieved persons in the council to join hands with the leadership to move the body forward.
So it's for we now to build our strength around him so we can succeed.
Other youth leaders who spoke at the gathering, including a woman leader, Favor Enyafewan, and Taxos Chairman Stephen Akemu, added their voices to call for a more united Rebel land. At the end of the election, Comrade Patrick Ogeneruru emerged as president, Comrade Charlton Ukurere, secretary, Kensington Ukwade, Board of Trustees, Stephen Akemu, Taxos Chairman, and Favor Enyafewan as woman leader. Urhobo youths and leaders from all walks of life attended the gathering.
As part of activities to expand the horizon of the DBS Warri Sports Club that was reintroduced by the Acting General Manager of Delta Broadcasting Service Warri, Pastor Malcolm Muteri, the DBS Warri Sports Club coordinator Louis Nuche, as well as some members, has paid a courtesy visit to one of its patrons, Nze Francis Onwara. Mr. Nuche commended the sports stakeholders for his support and love for the growth of sports in the state in the past, as well as his contributions to the success of the inaugural edition of the DBS Warri Sports Club. It was held on the 7th of September 2019. Mr. Nuche, on behalf of the management of DBS Warri, hailed the CEO, Francon Sports Warri, Chief Francis Onwara, for finding time to participate in the aerobic session at the inauguration of the DBS Warri Sports Club.
Receiving calls for members who want to attend, want to partake. You know, people like this kind of a thing, you know. People you've never met before, you socialize, you exercise, you know, in a secure environment, you know. We are looking on to it. So I think we'll really go far.
On his part, the immediate past special advisor to Delta State Governor on Non-Indigenous Affairs, Chief Francis Onwara, described the Acting General Manager of Delta Broadcasting Service, Pastor Malcolm Muteri, as a man of success who deserves to be supported in every aspect, as it is evident DBS Warri has regained its rightful place in the state as an organ for information dissemination. He promised to be at the beck and call of DBS Warri Sports Club, as he further emphasized that they will be partnering with
a form, a registration form, and this one is meant for my president. When I say my president, I mean the president of Ohanes and the Delta Central and South, in the person of Honorable Chief Mike JP, and I've just spoken with him. He gave me his permission to pick up this form. So, by the grace of God, he's one of us.
Receiving the items at DBS Warri premises, a visibly elated Acting General Manager DBS Warri, Pastor Malcolm Muteri, extolled Chief Francis Onwara for his kind gesture, as he also called on
DBS Warri Sports Club. It was just inaugurated on Saturday, and here we have quite a number of materials to kick off. You can see me holding a football. There is a table tennis board now. There are jerseys, there is Scrabble, and so on. I mean, it is wonderful. So when you come here, that we can come here Saturday mornings to DBS Ejeba Warri and participate in any kind of sport that we can, beginning with the aerobics in the morning. I really want to thank Francon Sports Business.
The DBS Warri Sports Club holds every Saturday at the DBS premises at Ejeba from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and membership is free. With that, we conclude the bulletin for tonight. But before we go, one of the stories that made headlines. A strong, stable and efficient primary health care system is a veritable tool for achieving universal health coverage in the country. This was the assertion of Governor Ifeanyi Kowa today while declaring open the 62nd National Council on Health NCH meeting holding in Asaba, the state capital. That's the news. More programs ahead.